on that. What we don't know, or what we very rarely talk about, is who is the greatest number one contender of all time. The GOAT, the greatest of all times. At this point, we all know it's George St. Pierre, followed by Mighty Mouse. Then we have Volkanovski. Then we've got Khabib, 29-0. And then we've got one of the most fun fighters ever watched is Jose Aldo. So that's decided. Everyone agrees upon that. What we don't know, or what we very rarely talk about, is who is the greatest number one contender of all time. I'm here to tell you. The ground rules for who is the greatest number one contender of all time. Basically, you just have to currently not be the champion. That's it. That's the only ground rule there is. So that's not even basically. That is just, that's it. Don't currently be the champion. That being said, let's get the list started.
I can show the number.
Number 5 on my list of greatest number one contenders is Daniel Cormier. And he's tricky because he was actually the champion. He was dual champ. He was one of the rare breed that had both the light heavyweight and the heavyweight title at the same time. But we both know that he lost to John Jones twice. He was unable to overcome that hurdle. The last time they fought, John Jones even said, "You're going to lean this way, I'm going to kick you in the head," and that's exactly what happened. John Jones told Daniel Cormier how he is going to lose, and it happened. Daniel Cormier couldn't stop it from happening twice. Had John Jones not been forced to vacate the title due to his extracurricular activities, Daniel Cormier would have never been the champ, would have never been the double champ. He got up to light heavyweight, took the belt from one of the greatest of all time, Stipe Miocic, and then lost it to him again. But to be the champ, you got to beat the champ. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it that third time. That trilogy was an amazing trilogy, and Daniel Cormier couldn't do it. That is why he is my number 5 on this list.
4.
My number 4 greatest number one contender of all time. This might be the most controversial pick on the list. Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo lost to Conor McGregor and was unable to really maintain his dominance in the division ever again. He beat Frankie Edgar right after, although he wanted the rematch against Conor. Conor went up, vacated the belt, and that's the way it was. Then he fought Max Holloway, and Max Holloway put a beating on him. And I hate saying it because Jose is one of my favorite fighters of all time. Max put a beating on him. He got a rematch with Max. Short notice though it was, he got beat up even worse the second time. I believe he gassed in like round 2. It was short notice, so it was bound to happen. Gassed in round 2. Now, from that point on, it was just kind of a roller coaster. He beat everyone except those that became champions. He lost to Volkanovski, dropped weight classes, lost to Peter Yan. He won some in there from some of the greatest that have ever been. But he kept out of that title range. He got so close so many times. He even got within a round of getting it, and then he would lose. He was kept out of regaining that title, and for that reason, he is one of the greatest, definitely the most enjoyable to watch, but one of the greatest of all time.
Number 3.
My number 3 man, the number one contender, greatest of all time, number 3 spot is, I love watching him. A lot of people give him crap because of the way he talks all the time, but I love watching him. Colby Covington. Colby is hands down the greatest talent in the division. I think he's cleaned everybody up and he's made it look easy, except for Usman. He got to that title fight against Marty, and he lost. I did think it was a bad stoppage. He had his jaw broken in round 4 and got stopped in round 5. I thought it was an early stoppage, although he was rocked. And then actually it didn't even matter because the judges had it going for Usman the whole time anyways. Disagree with the judge. I thought he was lighting Usman up. I thought he was just out pointing him out, doing everything to him. And he got that takedown in the second round, or the second fight. I don't care what the scorecard says. Colby put Usman on his butt. Colby has not gotten the belt yet. He might. He has to fight either Burns or a Leon Edwards to get it. And I think he'll win, so maybe this list will have to get remade after that. But as of right this very second, Colby Covington has never held that gold, never been in the, where you could be called champion, at least not undisputedly. And he is my number 3 greatest number one contender of all time.
We show their quantity too.
My number 2 greatest number one contender of all time. Everybody loves watching him. Everybody loves hearing him speak. He has a touching story, behind the cage. He is loved by just about everyone, and people tune in to watch him. He's one of the biggest draws in the UFC. However, since he lost that belt to Izzy so many years ago, and then lost it to him again, or just so many years ago, he's been unable to get it back. But unlike most past post-champions, he has beaten everybody they put in front of him. And that's Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker has gone on a tear since losing his 2 fights to Izzy. He just beats everyone up. He hasn't even had a particularly close fight yet. He goes in there and he just kind of beats everyone up in very entertaining ways. They keep throwing anyone they can at him, trying to get him to get to that 3rd title shot against Izzy. He's sure he'll beat Izzy in this 3rd time. I don't know if anyone else is, but he's sure of it. A couple of the fights are good. He's one of the few people that really bring it to Izzy. I know Pierre came in there and knocked him out, but Izzy got it back. Everybody else goes in there and does the Romero stance, where they stand there and they don't do much, or they go with the Italian Dream style, where they shoot but not well and just kind of try to win the rounds. Robert Whittaker went in there with a game plan, with a point of purpose to try and defeat Izzy. To try and not only defeat him, but to beat him up. It hasn't happened yet. I would be excited to watch a 3rd attempt, but he's got a few more, at least one more fight in front of him before that's allowed to happen. So, good luck, Robert Whittaker. I hope you beat Duplessis, because I want to see you fight Izzy again. I want to see you get off this list. I want to see you the champ again, just like I think everybody does. So, Robert Whittaker, you are the number 2 greatest number 1 contender of all time. And the greatest number 1 contender of all time. He is a man that I don't think there's even a close second place. He goes in there and he destroys everybody except the current champion. He beat the champ to become the champ. He defended the belt numerous times. And finally, he lost 3 times to Volkanovski, who is one of the greatest of all time. Max Holloway, you are the number 1 greatest contender of all time. If you take those 3 fights against Volkanovski out of there, and I kind of think he won the 2nd time. If you take those fights out, he has won like 14 times since 2014. He has beaten everyone. He is an old dog in this sport, and nobody's making it look good except the champion, which is what it takes to become the number 1 greatest, number 1 contender of all time. So Max Holloway, I don't want to say a bet against you, because I don't, but you have to lose at some point. You can't beat everyone, although you have and continuously beat everyone. You're taking young up-and-comers that are supposed to be the next champion, and you're destroying them. You're not even making it look easy. You haven't had a competitive fight outside of the Volkanovski fights. You go in there against everybody and you just piece them up. You say it's because you don't spar during camp. I couldn't imagine having a camp where I don't spar. Sparring is the most fun you can have on 2 feet. It's just the way it is. Max Holloway, you are incredible. You have my respect. Maybe I'll start sparring less because of the way you dominate everyone. Probably not. I like sparring too much. But Max Holloway, you are the number 1 contender, the greatest number 1 contender of all time. I want to see you get that 4th match against Volkanovski, because who else is there? You beat everyone else. Go beat the Korean Zombie. Get that hand raised against Volkanovski. And we'll see you back in the winner's circle, my friend. Bonus round. There are 2 fighters out there that I almost put on this list. One being Cowboy Cerrone. He has fought for the title numerous times, and he's just not been able to overcome that obstacle. He became a gatekeeper for not the top 10, but the top 5. And he deserved every title shot he got. He deserved every big fight he got. And it was sorry to see him go out on his sleeve like he did, or on his shield like he did. I would have loved to have seen him get that belt around his waist like I think everyone else. By the way, my mom loves Colby Cerrone. It is like if I wasn't her son in the UFC, Colby Cerrone would be her favorite fighter. It might be even with me being her son in the UFC, but I'm going to take the win and say I'm still her number 1. He's amazing. I've met him once or twice. If you guys ever get the chance, he is a person he's a wonderful human being. He's a joy to watch fight. He's better than anyone probably should be, and he has had one of the most dominant careers in MMA without ever getting that belt. So he is on that borderline, coulda, shoulda, woulda been on my list. But Colby Cerrone, you are the man. The other one that I actually argued with, maybe I'd take Jose Aldo off and put him on, because Daniel Cormier deserves on there. He's number 5, but Jose Aldo, my other bonus pick would be Romero. Romero is the guy everybody was scared to fight, but he had 3 title shots against 2 different people, and he just lost. And I mean, he lost wars to Robert Whittaker. I mean, they were incredible fights. If you pause this, actually just play this again as you go watch I need the hours. I need the minutes on my hours. Go watch the Romero versus Whittaker fight. They were incredible. Both fights. And both of them have shortened the lives of the 2 of them, but they were worth watching. And then he fought Izzy, and this is the reason he didn't make my list. He fought Izzy by standing in the middle of the ring and doing nothing for 25 minutes. He wasted 25 minutes of my life. And I shan't forgive him for that. Romero, you are the man. You're terrifying. You will be the champion of Bellator at some point. And everyone tunes in when you fight because you're just the most scary looking fella out there. So you almost made my list if it weren't for that Izzy fight. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Tell me who I left off. Tell me if I'm wrong, and I'll tell you I wasn't wrong. But enjoy the content. Love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.